beyond sunshine. The foods that naturally contain vitamin D. Why understanding food sources makes nutrition more practical. Vitamin D is one of the most widely discussed nutrients in health and wellness. For many people, the words vitamin D immediately create one association: sunshine. This connection is understandable because vitamin D is often called the sunshine vitamin. When skin is exposed to sunlight, the body can produce vitamin D naturally. Because of this, many people think of vitamin D almost exclusively in relation to sunlight. Yet there is another side to the conversation that often receives less attention: food. While sunlight remains an important source of vitamin D, certain foods can also contribute to vitamin D intake. Understanding where these foods come from and how they fit into everyday meals can make nutrition feel more practical, more achievable, and easier to apply in daily life.
This is an important distinction.
Health information becomes far more useful when it moves beyond theory and into everyday habits. Knowing that vitamin D is important is one thing. Knowing where to find it is another. One of the interesting realities about vitamin D is that many natural food sources are foods people may not eat regularly. Some of the most commonly discussed natural food sources include salmon, sardines, mackerel, egg yolks, and UV-exposed mushrooms. Certain fortified foods may also contain vitamin D. When people see this list, they are often surprised, not because the foods are unusual, but because many of them are not foods that appear on the plate every day. This creates an interesting observation. Some people may rely almost entirely on sunlight exposure for their vitamin D intake, without realizing that food can also play a supporting role. This is one reason understanding food sources becomes valuable. Nutrition is not only about learning nutrient names, it is about learning where those nutrients exist in the real world. Consider salmon. Salmon is often discussed for its protein content and omega-3 fatty acids. Yet it is also one of the most recognized natural food sources of vitamin D. A simple meal of salmon and vegetables does more than provide protein. It also contributes nutrients that support broader aspects of health. Sardines offer another example. Although sometimes overlooked, sardines are nutrient-dense foods that frequently appear in discussions around healthy eating. They are convenient, affordable, and versatile. Whether added to salads or included in other meals, they demonstrate how nutrition can often be simpler than people expect. Egg yolks provide another practical example. Eggs are already a common food in many households. For people looking to understand where vitamin D can be found, eggs help illustrate that useful nutrients often exist within familiar foods rather than exotic ingredients. Mushrooms offer an interesting addition to the conversation, particularly UV-exposed mushrooms, which can contain vitamin D and provide another option for people seeking dietary sources. The wider lesson here is not that everyone should suddenly redesign their entire diet around one nutrient. The lesson is awareness. Awareness helps people make informed choices. Awareness helps people recognize opportunities that may already exist within everyday meals. And awareness helps transform nutrition from something complicated into something practical. This is where many health conversations become more useful. Instead of asking, what supplement should I take? It can sometimes be helpful to ask, what foods already contain the nutrients I'm learning about? That shift in thinking encourages a food-first mindset. Supplements may have a role in specific circumstances. However, understanding food sources remains a valuable foundation for nutritional knowledge. The goal is not perfection. The goal is understanding. Understanding how nutrients connect to foods. Understanding how foods connect to meals. Understanding how meals connect to habits. And understanding how habits influence long-term health outcomes. This is particularly relevant when discussing healthy aging, strength, mobility, physical capability, independence, quality of life. These outcomes are rarely shaped by one decision. They are influenced by the cumulative effect of many small choices made over time. The food selected during grocery shopping, the meals prepared at home, the habits repeated week after week. These everyday decisions may seem ordinary in the moment. Yet over months and years, they contribute to the bigger picture of health and well-being. Perhaps that is one reason vitamin D remains such a widely discussed nutrient, not simply because it is important, but because it reminds us of the connection between nutrition and daily life. This week's Wellness Wednesday is therefore not only a conversation about vitamin D, it is a conversation about practical nutrition, about recognizing where nutrients can be found, about translating knowledge into meals, and about making healthy eating feel more realistic and achievable. because sometimes the most valuable nutrition lessons begin with a simple question: beyond sunshine, where else can vitamin D be found? Thank you for listening to. This discussion has explored some of the foods that naturally contain vitamin D and why understanding food sources can help make nutrition more practical. The goal is not to become obsessed with individual nutrients. The goal is to build awareness that supports better food choices, healthier habits, and long-term well-being.